Big bore hunting calibers have been around for over a century thanks to their versatility and stopping power. But they aren't just about power, they're about dropping the biggest game fast and clean. Whether it's moose, elk, or a bear that doesn't take no for an answer, the right caliber can mean the difference between success and disaster. In this video, we'll talk about 7 of the most powerful big bore hunting calibers available in 2025, from monstrous revolver rounds to heavy-hitting rifle cartridges, breaking down why they matter and what they can really do in the field. If you like carrying a handgun for protection in the wild, but still demand the power to drop large beasts fast, the 475 Linebaugh can make you feel ready for anything. It started out as an improvement over longtime favorites like the 44 Magnum and 454 Castle, and it quickly built a reputation for tearing through heavy bone and dense hide. Seasoned revolver hunters trust it for its compact size and devastating punch during up-close encounters. You won't be underpowered. It can launch hefty bullets that break 1,700 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, so it's well-suited for elk, moose, or even bigger bears. Some folks have brought it to Africa for specific hunts. It's not about flashy marketing. This round is simply brute force packaged in a revolver. Recoil, however, is substantial. If your experience ends at a 44 Magnum, you'll want practice before touching off the hardest kicking loads. A robust revolver frame can help manage it, but technique is key. Penetration is where the 475 Linebaugh shines. Hardcast loads will bore straight through thick-skinned targets and still keep going. If you need to knock down a bear coming straight on, you'll want every bit of that deep driving impact. That's why folks spending time in big predator territory rely on this round. It's essentially the definition of a dangerous game handgun cartridge. If you're ready to handle the stiff recoil and you've decided a revolver fits your style, the 475 Linebaugh is compelling. It's not cheap, and it doesn't hold back on your wrists. But when you're facing a situation where real power can make a life-saving difference, there aren't many cartridges that match its reputation. It's among the most formidable rounds you'll ever fit in a 5 or 6 shot cylinder. The 4570 government dates all the way back to 1873, yet it refuses to fade away. If you value time-tested effectiveness, this cartridge can handle modern tasks just as well as it did nearly a century and a half ago. These days, ammunition makers have boosted its performance so you can confidently drop elk at a couple hundred yards. No need for a rainbow trajectory. Slip a 405-grain bullet or a modern 300-grain expander into a lever-action rifle, and you'll see why folks keep returning to the 4570. That big slug carries crushing energy and cuts broad, clean holes through hide and bone. The real magic is in its flexibility. Lighter rounds work fine on deer, while heavier hardcast or bonded loads take care of moose and bears. Anyone who hunts thick forests or undergrowth will appreciate how a 4570 lever gun handles. It's quick to the shoulder, maneuverable, and absolutely capable of humane, one-shot drops. High-powered ammo from Buffalo Boar or Garrett can make the 4570 behave like a modern Magnum. Recoil climbs, but so does your confidence when large animals loom. If you guide bear hunts or simply love the feel of a lever gun, you can rely on this classic. There's also a special thrill in carrying a round that once helped shape the frontier. Although you can find bolt-action and single-shot rifles in 4570, that lever gun remains the iconic companion. You might not need high-tech optics or a fancy rail system either. Low-power scopes or sturdy iron sights do just fine for the ranges where this cartridge really excels. Despite its age, it isn't going anywhere. It stays popular for one simple reason: it still works every time you need it. Here's another option for people who want a major thump from their AR-15s. The 458 Socom might be exactly what you need. It originated when special operations units wanted more muscle than 5.56 NATO could provide. Swapping a 458 Socom upper onto your AR sets you up to launch bullets as heavy as 600 grains, enough to topple big hogs, deer, or even black bears at moderate ranges. You'll appreciate the fact that it doesn't require a specialized lower or bizarre magazines. It's built to run from modified 5.56 mags, which means you can keep using gear you already own. That convenience is a plus if you enjoy switching calibers without overhauling your entire rifle collection. 458 Socom really shines in thick woods or shorter range scenarios. Those heavy bullets move at moderate speeds, so you get immense energy transfer without sending the projectile a mile past your intended target. Texas hog hunters rely on it because you can fire multiple shots quickly, and it also adapts nicely to subsonic use if you plan to run a suppressor. Some folks compare it to 50 Beowulf or 450 Bushmaster. They're all big-bore AR cartridges, and each has its fans. Which one you choose may hinge on ammo prices or personal taste. If you ask me, 458 Socom deserves your attention for its balance of bullet weight, tolerable recoil, and flexibility in load selection. It's a fantastic option for medium-range hunts where you need genuine stopping power. You'll rest easy knowing you have a round that animals can't shake off, but you're still running a compact, familiar AR-15 platform. You should consider the 50 Beowulf if you're looking to seriously amp up the power of your AR-15. It's a favorite for folks who crave a gigantic bullet diameter without letting recoil beat them up too badly. This round came from Alexander Arms with the goal of offering massive energy for big game or dangerous predators, and you can still manage quick follow-up shots when the pressure's on. If you plan to tackle moose or elk in thick brush, the Beowulf can deliver clean kills at modest distances. When it's loaded with 325 to 600 grain bullets, you'll see muzzle energy in the ballpark of 3,000 foot-pounds, which is plenty for most North American game. You don't have to endure punishing recoil either, because a gas-operated AR absorbs a lot of the kick. Its deep penetration is a major advantage. Those wide bullets don't rely on expansion, so they'll smash through dense hide or bone. That matters if a bear charges and you can't wait for a bullet to mushroom. Having multiple rounds in a semi-auto mag helps your peace of mind when large predators close in. You might also hear about this cartridge in security or law enforcement circles for punching through doors or windshields. It can blast past tough barriers and still transfer huge energy to the target. If you're heading into the Alaskan backcountry or simply love pushing the limits of the AR platform, the 50 Beowulf may be exactly what you need. It merges practicality with raw punch and won't force you to lug around a huge rifle to get there. Compared to other big-bore AR rounds, this one uses an even larger diameter bullet than the 458 Socom. It delivers an enormous initial impact, though you might have to look around a bit for ammo. Still, if you're after big-bore performance in a familiar package, you probably won't regret picking up a Beowulf upper. If you don't like the 50 Beowulf for some reason, but you want to use your AR-15 lower, the 450 Bushmaster might be another great option. This cartridge emerged because people wanted a large bore round in a lightweight platform, and it certainly delivers the power you need at short to medium ranges. It's basically a hopped-up 45 caliber slug that travels faster than you'd guess, which helps you drop targets quickly. One of its main perks is its straight wall design, which is handy in states that restrict bottleneck cartridges for hunting. If you hunt in places like Ohio or Iowa, you're probably aware of the specific rules about bullet shape and case design. The 450 Bushmaster meets those requirements nicely. If you chase feral pigs in Texas or face them elsewhere, you'll love how hard it hits, especially since you can fire multiple rounds in a semi-auto without hesitation. Its recoil is lighter than you'd expect from a round that rivals 45-70 levels of energy in a smaller package. You'll still get enough knockdown to handle bigger-bodied game without destroying your shoulder. Ammunition is also relatively easy to track down, and handloaders can tweak their recipes depending on what they hunt. Some states demand a minimum caliber or a straight-wall cartridge for deer, so the 450 often fits right into those rules. For bear defense, a well-aimed shot with a tough bullet can be enough for black bears. You might not want it as your first choice for huge coastal grizzlies, but if you're sticking to the lower 48, it's a solid all-rounder that mounts on your existing AR lower. It's not going to weigh you down, and it has enough muscle to take care of any deer or hog you'll find in the woods. If you're trekking through rugged country in search of trophy moose or keeping watch for giant brown bears, the 50 Alaskan might be the lever-action round you've always hoped existed. Handloaders in Alaska created it by expanding a .348 Winchester case to 50 caliber, forging a hardcore solution for immediate bear defense. It's not built for showing off at the range, it's built to save your hide when you're caught off guard at close range. Long-distance shooting isn't its specialty, it's meant for 200 yards or less, where a hefty bullet slams through muscle and bone without slowing down. Lever-action rifles chambered in 50 Alaskan can be surprisingly compact, so they're handy when you're slogging through dense brush or crossing swift streams. You'll often find custom conversions on Marlin or Winchester platforms, fitted with sturdy stocks and shortened barrels. Hunters typically load 400 to 500 grain bullets that produce muzzle energy on par with some safari rounds. You can be confident it'll handle anything in North America, and it's even ventured into Africa on occasion. Recoil is stout, but it's workable if you've fired other large calibers. A decent recoil pad also helps soften the blow. If you like traditional mechanical reliability and the speed of a lever gun, the .50 Alaskan is tough to beat. It's a big favorite of guides who need multiple shots in a hurry and can't afford to come in underpowered against massive Bruins. Custom builds don't come cheap, but the end result is a rifle that won't let you down in life-or-death moments. It's like carrying a piece of old-school craftsmanship that's been refined to handle modern threats. When the 500 S&W Magnum hit the scene in early 2003, it took the crown as the most powerful production handgun caliber, and it held onto that title for a long time. But what a lot of people don't realize is that in 2022, the 500 Bushwhacker came along and knocked it off its throne. This new .50 caliber behemoth stretches what's possible in a revolver, delivering rifle-like punch in a package that can weigh as much as some carbines. If you dream about having the biggest, most ferocious wheelgun around, this cartridge might haunt your wish list. The 500 Bushwhacker is basically a longer version of the 500 S&W, allowing heavier projectiles and bigger powder charges. That leads to muzzle energy topping 4,000 foot-pounds, which sneaks into African big game territory. It's borderline ridiculous, but that's part of its appeal. If you ever want to knock over a bison or moose with a single shot from a wheel gun, look no further. Of course, you'll deal with recoil that scares off even tough shooters. You'll probably need a hefty frame, a muzzle brake, and a rock-solid grip to stand a chance at controlling it. Rapid follow-up shots? Not exactly the strong suit here, but if your first shot connects, it can seal the deal on any threat, whether it's a grizzly charge or a powerful bull elk. Calling it practical might be a stretch unless your focus is truly on dangerous game, or you simply crave bragging rights. Not many people own one, and there's a reason. It's highly specialized. Still, if you're after raw horsepower and want to carry the equivalent of a short rifle on your hip, the 500 Bushwhacker is hard to dismiss. Some revolve around the fun factor, others around serious hunting. This one delivers both. Just be prepared for wrist-rattling recoil and enough muzzle blast to get everyone's attention at the range. And those are the 7 most powerful big bore hunting calibers available in 2025. Let us know in the comments which ones caught your interest the most. And don't forget, hit like, share this with a fellow hunter, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you don't miss out on more hard-hitting content. Thanks for watching.